course, we're going to talk about cybersecurity budgeting. And the big question on everybody's mind is, how much should we spend on cybersecurity? And the answer is, it depends. Sorry. Today we're actually, and you guys knew that was coming. Today we're going to step through cybersecurity spending guidelines, a process for how you determine your budget, and give you some kind of comparisons and numbers for different types of products that you probably want to be prioritizing in the coming year. Overall, I can tell you that cybersecurity spending is up. McKinsey & Company reported that there's a 15% annual increase of costs related to cybercrime, and they expect that to reach $10.5 trillion by 2025. Over 69% of organizations predict that they will have an increase in cybersecurity spending in 2022. So by and large, we're seeing increases this year. So what is our ultimate goal when it comes to budgeting? Well, ultimately, we are trying to achieve nothing. That is LMG's slogan, and there's a reason we picked it. It's because in cybersecurity, you're always trying to get to a place where nothing happens, and that is kind of hard to measure. How do you measure the ROI on trying to achieve nothing, right? Well, it turns out you actually can do that. Our goal is to reduce the risk of something happening. We want to decrease the likelihood of a negative event. We want to decrease the impact if a negative event were to happen. And then when we implement a control, we want to spend as efficiently and effectively as possible. So back in May, we had how to run an effective cybersecurity program. And the full process for doing that is, number one, know what you're trying to protect, understand your obligations, monitor your risk, and then finally manage your risk. And it's in that manage your risk where your budget really comes into play, because it's all about how much is it going to cost to actually implement all the controls that you think are appropriate for your organization. In this jewelry store, all of those glass boxes and the security system, those cost money. And at some point, you need to accept some risk and decide what your risk appetite is. Here are a few factors to consider when you're budgeting. I wish I could tell you you should be spending X% of your IT or things like that. And frankly, there are stats out there, but they're multiple years old. I have not seen anything current enough that made me want to present it to you. So instead, I'm going to give you 3 things to think about. Number one, what is your risk? Where are those risks coming from? What are your contractual and compliance obligations? Think about those emerging threats. What is your organization's risk appetite? How much do you need to spend to get to your risk to a level where your organization is comfortable? So you need to be talking to leadership. You need to be talking to the board. If you are leadership, communicate with your team. Let them know what the organization's risk appetite is. And just remember, when you're spending, how your program is executed is likely as important as how much money is devoted to cybersecurity. That's a quote from Deloitte. We've been quoting that for a few years, and it's still true to this day. You're going to get a lot of bang for your buck by just deleting some data, reducing it. And there's also other things we highlighted on, again, where you're going to have a really efficient and effective program.
Thank you so much, everyone. Again, this is Sherry Davidoff, CEO of LMG Security. If you have any questions, please reach out anytime. We'd love to hear from you. You can email us at info@lmgsecurity.com or find us on LinkedIn and follow us on Twitter. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you next time.